Hey gang. So I've been taking some time to work with Unity's package manager system, specifically in reference to its ability to use Git repositories so that we have a more streamlined way of sharing and deploying assets and packages for us to use. So to run through this sort of test example that I've decided to create, because I wanted an easy way to share and demonstrate exactly how this process works, you're going to need a couple of things. First, you're going to need two projects, one that you export from, a project that you import to, a Git repository, and Mobsakai's UPM Git extension. Now, to begin, let's start with doing everything from the exporting side of things. So, from the exporting side of things, you're going to want to open up your GitHub or GitLab, your repository, and copy the URL and clone the repository using GitHub or Git Bash and set the root to the assets folder of the project you are going to export from. Yours will start in empty. However, you're very quickly going to add a runtime folder and a package.json file. Very quickly, the reason why we add a runtime folder is because in order for the package to be read by the project we import to, Unity has a very specific naming structure with these special folder names, and I'm doing more research on getting less specific naming conventions so that we can customize our folder structure and our folder hierarchy to better fit our needs. But for now, I know the two folders that work are runtime and editor. So, create a folder, set it to runtime. This is where all of the stuff that you want to export is going to be stored. And in the package.json folder, you're going to include a couple of things. You're going to include the name, which is done in this reverse URL format, the version of this package that you're currently on, the display name, this is what actually shows up when you use the package manager, the description, which also shows up and just provides more information on the package, the versions of Unity that this is compatible with. This is something you have to set yourself here. And then information about the author, your name, your email, your URL. From there, you're going to add whatever you want to add to the runtime folder. So I have added a test folder, and inside that test folder, I have two C# scripts, the C# script tests, C# script delete, the assembly file aek.test. When you are creating scripts that are going to be packaged, you're going to need to give all of the scripts their own namespace, just so that in the project you import to, Unity knows exactly where these packages came from and they can be referenced. Once you've added a namespace to all of the files that you are exporting, you're going to make an assembly file. And all this assembly file needs to start is just the name. And the name is going to equal whatever the namespace is you've set. So for test, I made the namespace aek.test. And so I've made this assembly file aek.test. Now, note, I haven't done that for the delete folder, or the delete file. That's because I want to demonstrate a different purpose with this file, and so I don't need it called or referenced by anything. So, once you've done that, you are simply going to push. So you'll have your changes in here, and then you'll commit them and push them up. Then in the import project, you're going to go to the package manager for this. You're going to import the Git extension we talked about earlier from Mobsakai. And then you're going to import your own project. And with Unity's package manager system, they'll appear in their own little section under the author of the package. So in this case, I don't need to update because I haven't pushed anything and I have all of my pieces here. But what you would do is you would simply take the URL of your project, post it in here, hit add, and then it would be added to your scene in the packages folder. And then from there, you will be able to set up and use whatever you've put in the packages. So for example, I have this cube object and my test script causes it to rotate. So you can see, because we set up the assembly reference file, you can simply search for your files that you've created and add them to your objects. And then we can see that the cube begins to rotate. Wow. So from there, we have our assets imported. They're all here appropriately. But what if we wanted to make an update? Let's say this delete file sucks and isn't necessary. It's deprecated. Now what you can do is in the original project that you've set up, you can make the edit, delete the delete folder, save, make sure that the metadata is also being pushed with the actual changes. You can just call this deleted. And push it up. Now back in our import project, normally what we'd have to do is you'd have to completely remove the package from the scene, re-download the new package, and reinstall it into the Unity project. But because we have the Git extension, what we can do is when updates are made, and refresh this just to make double, triple check, you can simply update to whatever the branch you're currently on is called. So this one is 1.0.0 main. So we update, and what this does is it removes the package, then re-imports the package with the new information. So now we no longer have the delete file, and the package is completely up to date with the original project. And then from here, you can update however you want with the original project. So yeah, that's just a brief little tutorial on how to set up the projects. I'll include links to the Mob Sakai UI extension. I'll also write up a little tutorial just in case you don't want to listen to this whole video. I'll write up a little step-by-step tutorial so that you can pursue this on your own time, but this is the system.